Welcome to the Dinosaur Georges podcast, a show about paleontology and other earth sciences. Dinosaur Georges is a public speaker, author, and TV host with 30 years of study in paleontology. He has performed live in over 4,500 events across the US and Canada. Now, here is Dinosaur Georges.
Hey there, good morning, everybody. It's a very interesting podcast because it's unlike anything I've ever done before. This past weekend, we went to the city of Killeen, Texas with our traveling museum. And I tested out my portable podcast equipment. And so in this particular episode, I'm going to do kind of a different show this time. I'm going to talk a little bit about a museum that I really like, that I've heard so much about. Let me say I have not been to it yet, which is a little frustrating for me, but my schedule is so busy it's hard for me to get away. But I want to highlight this really cool museum. Also, one of the people that works in the museum, Rex, a friend of mine, is going to come on, and I do an interview with Rex. And then for the remainder of the podcast, I am simply going to play all of the interviews I did with all of these kids. They are really great. They're a lot of fun. Some of them ask questions. Some of them want to talk about dinosaurs. So I'm just going to dedicate this podcast to the interviews with all of those kids. But before we do that, I do definitely want to talk about this really cool museum. So let's jump into that, and we'll do that right now.
It's Science Safari time, where we share sights to see and places to go. If you have a science museum, destination, or upcoming Earth science event and would like us to promote it, please go to our website, dinosaurgeorge.com, and contact us. Now, here is our destination for this week's Science Safari.
All right, our focus is a museum called Texas Through Time. It is located in Hillsboro, Texas. It's owned by a friend of mine who does a really good job of displaying Texas fossils. And let me read to you their mission statements, because this really explains it the best. The mission statement of Texas Through Time is to bring together a comprehensive collection of Texas fossils for the purpose of engaging and educating the general public. Through meaningful educational experiences, we hope to stimulate appreciation for Texas' unique fossil record. Boy, that sums it up great. They've got a Facebook page. Just go to Texas Through Time, and through is spelled out completely, THROUGH, Texas Through Time. It's really cool. I've talked to a lot of people that have been there. I've looked at some of their images that they have online. They've also got a temporary exhibit right now from Meteorite Men, that TV show. They actually have real meteorites and some really cool stuff. So I would encourage anybody that lives in and around or is driving through. And Hillsboro, by the way, for anybody that drives kind of north and south through Texas, you're taking I-35 and you're heading either towards Waco, or you're heading towards Dallas, Fort Worth area. Hillsboro is the city where 35 splits. One of it goes to Fort Worth, the other goes to Dallas. So Hillsboro is that location. And I really would encourage everybody to go in. I've drive by so many times, but unfortunately for us, we're either on the way to set up our traveling museum or we're coming back after doing it. And we're usually coming back at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So there's little hope of sneaking in at those particular hours. But I am going to make it a point to stop by, and I do want to give them a shout out because Andre Lujan is doing a very good job of trying to help expand people's knowledge of Texas fossils. Now, speaking of that museum, while I was in Killeen, Rex, who works at that museum and is a friend of mine. Rex is a friend of my podcast. He sent me a lot of questions. Rex came in because I had mentioned I was bringing my podcast equipment. Rex came in, was nice enough to do an interview. So we're going to get into Rex's interview. And then from there, I'm going to play some short interviews with some of the volunteers, the young people that have come in on a number of shows to volunteer. Well, we had a bunch of volunteers show up for the show in Killeen. So I'm going to play the volunteers interviews. And then from there, I'm just going to play all of those little kids' interviews, and I hope you guys like it. Like I said, this is a very different show, so I'm not going to take any Ask DG questions, and I'm not going to have time to do any of that. But I do hope you would stick around and listen to them. But let's get into interview with Rex right now. You know, I've received a bunch of questions from my friend Rex, who has asked me some really cool stuff. Well, we are in Killeen with the Traveling Museum, and I was fortunate enough that Rex was willing to come over and meet with me. So Rex, welcome to the show, man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. So tell me, Rex, tell me about your love. First of all, having the name Rex and loving dinosaurs has got to be the coolest thing on the planet.
Yeah, it's great.
So tell me about you. What got you interested in dinosaurs?
Well, I was born into Jurassic Park.
Right.
So that's what got me into it and falling in love with the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
My family knew how much I loved the Tyrannosaurus Rex, so they gave me the nickname Rex. And so that's just stuck for many, many years.
That is so cool. So what is your real name?
My real name is Kenneth Kowalski.
But
my
Rex?
dad has the same name as well.
Right.
So I just always went by Rex.
Right. And listen, it's incredibly cool. And I meet a lot of kids that are named Rex, and they don't realize the connection with Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
They just know the word, and I'm like, man, that is the coolest name in the world. So, you know, one of the things that I thought was cool is you are working with Texas Through Time, which is a fossil museum in Hillsboro, Texas. Anybody that goes through Hillsboro, Texas, you've got to stop. I have yet to have a chance to stop by and see you guys. Andre, who's I guess the brainchild of the thing, yeah. I've had the chance to talk to him. Nicest guy in the world. Tell me a little bit first about the museum. What do you do there, and what is the museum about?
So the museum is about all early life vertebrates, all the way from Permian all the way up Pleistocene, and we have a big event going on with actual dinosaurs right now. So there's a big showcase of that.
Right.
And meteorite men have come in, and so they have a whole setup as well.
Oh, man. So from the TV show Meteorite Men?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So you've got meteorites on exhibit there, right?
Correct, yeah.
How long is that there?
It's about 3 or 4 weeks. It just started this week.
Wow.
Previous last week. Yeah.
Right. And this is August the 25th, so everybody knows. So 2-3 weeks, you've got to get in there if people are in the area. How cool is that exhibit?
Oh, it's amazing. And they got a full Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton in there. It's awesome. They got all the clothes that they wore in the show. And
really?
The equipment that they used, all the meteorites they found. And they have a massive one that's, I believe it's like 500,000 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
Massive.
That is nuts, and that's on exhibit right now in that museum. Oh, my God.
And it's all made out of iron, so you can actually see it's magnetized.
Right.
They have magnets all over it.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, the museum is Texas Through Time. Now, you also have a lot of stuff that Andre has found, right? And things that...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Tell me about some of that stuff. I think I saw, was it Dimetrodon or Dilophosaurus is one of the Permian mammals. I saw a picture of something.
Dimetrodon, we do have a Dimetrodon there that was found by him. We also have a lot of other, we have like hand bones and finger bones and all small reptiles, even small mammals.
Really?
That we found. And the list just goes on and on and on. We found a non-listed tyrannosaur tooth that was found in Texas. We're not sure on the species yet.
Whoa.
The ankylosaur that was found over in the Big Bend.
Yes, out in the Big Bend. I read an article about that. It's a new species, right?
Right. It's not described yet. So it's a brand new species of ankylosaur, and they have over 200 bones that are actually there and still not fully prepped yet.
Oh, my God.
Well, do you guys do you show any of the prep work? Do you have like a prep lab that people can watch?
We do. So when you're going through the museum, you can see all the way in the back, there's big glass windows, and you can see into the lab and see what we're doing and how we're prepping these things.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
It's a lot of fun.
And, I don't think people realize the work that goes into prep. I think they walk into a museum and they see a finished bone or a mounted skeleton and go, God, that's so cool. And people like you and I are going, you don't understand the work.
Yeah. Took many years to get it like that.
That is crazy. So now if people come into the museum, are you there most of the time? Can they come in and meet you and you can show them around?
So right now I'm only working there on Saturdays. I have another job as well, so I'm only working there on Saturdays.
Right.
Contracted paleontologist through them.
Right.
So, but yeah, if they want to come and see, you more than likely I will be there on a Saturday.
Right.
From 10 to 6. So,
man,
anytime on that.
How cool is that? And it bothers me because I go through a lot. But my biggest problem is we're always on the way to an event or coming home from an event.
Right.
And so when we're coming home, it's usually 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when we pass through Hillsboro because we're always up in the Dallas area. And on the way up, we've always got a deadline to be there at a certain time because we have to unload the museum and all that other kind of stuff. And so I get frustrated because I go through there a lot, but I don't get a chance to stop. But I'm going to make it a point because I tell you, I went on Facebook. They have a Facebook page. And I went through and looked at some of the pictures. And I saw a picture, but it's not clear. Is there an oviraptor in there?
No, there's no oviraptor.
I saw a picture that somebody, you know what? I think somebody posted a picture. On your Facebook page of one they saw. And maybe that's what it was, because I just saw a picture
right,
of it.
Right, probably. And we do have a Bambi raptor in there. I don't know if that's it.
Now that's
cool. That's part of the meteorite men.
Right.
So once they leave, it's not going to be there anymore.
Got it.
But it's a full-grown Bambi raptor. It looks amazing.
Oh, God. And isn't it amazing how little but terrifying those things would have been?
Yeah, I wouldn't like that thing chasing me.
God, no kidding. All right, so that's Texas Zoo Time is the name of the exhibit. It's in Hillsboro, Texas. You guys got to stop in there and see it. Support them because they're doing good stuff. Now, for you personally, you've got a project you have, right? You've got a YouTube channel, is that right?
I do, yes.
So let's talk about that. What is it and what are you hoping to do with it?
So the channel is called Surgerum Studios. It's been around since 2005.
Right.
I've done small things when I was a kid, but now I've gotten into actually teaching dinosaurs.
Right.
And so the series that I got going on now is called Paleophiles.
Right.
And so the first episode we have on there right now is Terrible Claw. It's all about Deinonychus.
Nice.
And the equivalent from Deinonychus and the Jurassic Park Velociraptor.
Nice.
So
nice.
I got a lot going in with that.
Right.
And our new episode, which is going to be coming out the first Sunday of next month, September, is the Tyrant Lizard King. So that's all on Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that one is very in detailed, all the way from the arctometatarsal to the shape of the skull, how it fed, all of the biology. And then we're going to be going on with Stegosaurus and Allosaurus as well.
Oh, God, let me know when you do Allosaurus. That's my favorite. Let me ask you, for your target audience, is it a show that kids can watch and learn? Or is it a show directed at adults? Or is it a show that's made for anybody that likes science or paleontology?
It's for anybody, really.
Nice.
Yeah, it's for anybody that loves dinosaurs, and not only dinosaurs. So, I'm going to be doing multiple seasons. Hopefully, I can get at least 3 seasons out of this.
Right.
So you might want to like it.
Hey, absolutely, man. And tell me the name of it again so everybody can go to it.
So it's Paleophiles.
Paleophiles. So if you search Paleophiles on YouTube, we'll find your channel.
Yeah, and you'll see the channel Sturgeon Studios.
Right.
And so a lot of the stuff that I want to also get into is not just dinosaurs, but I'd like to get into Pleistocene stuff.
Nice.
I'd like to get into stuff that was in the sea. So
yes.
Ammonites and stuff like that.
Man, what a brilliant thing, because one of the things that frustrates me about YouTube channels, you see these people create these channels. Some of them are great, but then they always do the same 5 things. Mm-hmm. And not that there's never enough. I mean, look, there's never enough. It's somebody has something to add, that always helps. But the mammals, I get frustrated that the mammals are so remarkable, and yet they don't get the same amount of attention that you think they should get. That's like in my traveling museum, I have a lot of mammal stuff, and I make it a point to add mammals. because I love people to come up and go, I didn't know there was a buffalo with horns that big, or
Right,
and you're
right.
going, God, there's so many things out there.
Yeah, and you also see, like, you'll have, and I see it with your museum you got here, is you got all the dinosaurs, and then they get killed off, and you see the mammals start to grow,
Right.
and get bigger, but then you see these birds coming back into play.
Oh, yeah.
And they get large, and all of a sudden they get killed off. You know, could have been any saber-toothed cat that
Right.
got put into it,
Right.
or, you know, so they could have been knocked out just because of the mammals.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Well, listen, dinosaurs have tried to come back.
Yeah.
You know, I have people tell me it's such a shame that dinosaurs are gone, and I'm like, man, they're still here. And there's been a couple of instances with the terror birds where they tried to reclaim their position.
They did, yeah.
You know, and you're right. Mammals outclass them at that particular point.
Correct,
But
yeah.
who knows what tomorrow brings? You know, who knows what the next eagle may look like?
Right. And you got these animals, you got the dinosaurs, and the way that they bred is they just laid eggs and they used all of their energy to eat and get bigger.
Right.
Whereas mammals, you can see like the elephant. The elephant's large, but it puts a lot of its energy into actually breeding for the next generation.
Absolutely right.
It takes a lot more energy to be able to keep that strain going.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly probably why the bird/dinosaurs didn't make it, is because you have mammals that are doing more of the familiar families, living in families, raising their youngs, ensuring that the young get older. That's hard to compete with.
Yeah.
You know, and especially like you talked about the saber-toothed cats. Oh my God, everything about them is pretty terrifying. So those birds are bad. But unfortunately, dinosaurs tried to come back again and it just didn't work. But, you know, who knows? Well, listen, I'm really excited about it. Now, what got you into making your YouTube channel? You started it when you were young, you said, right?
I did. I started when I was young. I did some stop motion videos with toys and stuff, you know, Jurassic Park. And then I went into some more CGI animation.
Right.
And that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had, you know, schooling and all that stuff just really didn't work out.
Right.
And now I'm like, well, you know what? It would be really good, since I love paleontology and I love teaching it. And I really love teaching kids and doing tours and all that.
Right.
That why not make a video, make episodes to teach them a lot of stuff that's in that specific species.
Right.
That stuff that they might not even know about.
Right. See, that's what I like about your concept. Your concept isn't to touch on 50 animals in a 30-minute show. It's to teach you as much as you want to learn about an animal during that show. I think that's a brilliant concept. I like that a lot.
Correct, yeah.
Because you're right. Sometimes kids will read a soundbite or hear a soundbite of an individual animal, and that's the extent. You love to see these kids that can look at it from a different perspective and then ask the really important questions, because now they look at it differently. It sounds to me like your show is going to be the thing that's going to fill that niche.
Well, I think that. I thank you.
Yeah, that's so cool. And dinosaurs have always been, since you were a kid. You said you were born at the age of Jurassic World, and so I can understand. Have you ever had a time in your life you outgrew them or stopped liking them and then came back to them?
I never. In fact, I had a birthday a couple years ago, and they were filming Jurassic World, the first one, and they asked for some extras, and so I put my thing in to be an extra, and I was able to actually play in the film.
Nice.
Being chased by pteranodons.
Nice, man.
It was great.
Oh, what a great thing.
So I do have pictures on that too.
Oh, listen, man.
It was me and my wife. We got in there, and it was fantastic.
Oh.
It was hot.
Yo, who
It was
cares?
in Louisiana.
Who cares?
June, but man, it was great.
What a cool... Listen, man, you have one up to me, because I've never been. That is the coolest thing in the world. What a cool thing to have on your resume. You were chased by pterodactyls.
Yeah, in fact, when I did my resume for Texas Through Time, they were baffled. They were like, how did you do that? And I had to explain everything and show them pictures to prove it. They're like, okay, well, we believe you now.
What great way to... Talk about a good way to start your job interview.
Yeah.
I was featured in Jurassic Park.
Right?
I was a main character in Jurassic.
I don't know about main character, but...
Look, you got to play it up, man. You got to do that. Yeah, you know, you have no idea how many times they wanted to shoot me from different angles because I ran better than everybody else.
In fact, they wet down the ground a lot.
Right.
So I had these shoes that really didn't have a lot of grip.
Right.
So I was really hoping that they got it on the camera where I fell down.
Right.
Because I really hurt myself and it looked real.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't even acting.
Yeah.
It looked good. It looked really good. Unfortunately, I didn't see it in the film. They must have cut it.
That is so cool. What a cool thing. What a cool bit of information. That is so cool. So you loved dinosaurs as a kid, never outgrew it, got to do the ultimate, which is be forever captured in a Jurassic Park movie, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And now you're working with dinosaurs. Now, you said you only do it on the weekends. What else are you doing now? Do you work in a different industry, a different field?
I do. So throughout the rest of the week, I am actually an automotive technician.
Nice.
I work through Ford.
Right. How cool is that? Listen, we'll start bringing our truck to you. We drive a Ford.
Okay.
So we'll start bringing our truck to you to have it. As a matter of fact, can you run outside real quick? I've got a tick in the motor I want you to listen to.
Yeah.
But so you're getting to live your love, which is kind of hard to do. Not everybody gets to do that. Not everybody can do that. But fortunately, you found a place on the weekends to do it, which is the museum, but also your YouTube channel sounds exciting. And for everybody out there listening, I hope you go take a look at it, like it, and follow him to make sure you're doing it. Rex, you're so much fun, and I've only communicated you through Facebook, but I got to tell you, I'm not Facebook, through the internet. But I appreciate meeting you. You and your wife. Your wife is very lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
And how did you like the exhibit? Did you get a chance to look at much of it?
Oh, yeah. It looks amazing.
That's cool.
I'm going to go back around and take some more pictures of it.
Cool.
And that way I can post it up on the Surdom Studios Facebook page.
Nice.
Be able to look at that stuff, too.
Yeah, and listen, on your Facebook page, by the way, it is, it's STURRDRUM Studios, right?
Correct.
Okay, STURRDRUM. I want everybody out there to go to Facebook, follow and like his page on Facebook. Make sure to go to his YouTube channel and take a look at that and support his YouTube channel, because if it's successful, it can lead to additional episodes. And if there's someone out there who is helping people learn about dinosaurs, we all want to support them. And that's why I'm glad to have you on my show and have you as a guest on the show. And I'm so glad I got a chance to meet you in person.
Thank you. It's been great to be able to finally meet you in person, too.
All right. Well, like I said, I hope everybody gets a chance to go check out that museum. Rex, thank you so much for taking time to come in and talk with me. I enjoyed meeting you and your wonderful wife. Thank you guys so much. Now we're going to listen to some interviews with some of the young people that have volunteered for me during that event in Killeen. These are young people that I've known for a while. Great group of people. So this is interviews with them.
All right, I want you guys to meet somebody that's worked for me for the longest time. Thomas, I've known you since you were a little kid. How young were you when you first started coming to my shows?
I think I was probably at least
6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, Thomas. I met you when I started speaking at where I was speaking at libraries. And what's funny is Thomas has grown now to the point where now, of course, you're a young man. How old are you now?
16.
Good grief, 10 years. So now, like today, as a matter of fact, Thomas came to help us set up the exhibit, which is really kind of cool. And I appreciate all your help. So when you were little, you loved dinosaurs. Do you still have the same interest now, or has it changed?
I still am interested in dinosaurs. It's just, I don't know, it's gotten a little bit less over time.
Sure.
But I've gotten into more, I'm not really sure.
Well, and I think that happens to everybody. I went through a time where, I loved them when I was little. Then I sort of went through my earlier mid-teen years where there was other things that I found more interesting, the outdoors. I started spending more time in the outdoors, which is something I know you do. And then I sort of rediscovered them probably when I was about 17 or 18. I went back and started looking at them from a totally different perspective. And I think that's common with a lot of people.
I think that's what I'm doing, is I'm going through and shooting more and hunting more, and I think that's exactly what I'm doing.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, man, I appreciate you coming and helping us set up. This show is big. I mean, there's a lot of people in here right now. We just opened, 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And there's already a lot of people in here. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, so Thomas has been a friend of mine forever. Been a pain in my side for way too long. I've tried to ditch him a couple of times, but he keeps figuring out where I'm at, and he keeps showing up. But Thomas, I just wanted to say thank you for all the help. You and your mom, and of course your dad, but you and your mom especially. Every time we did a show, every time I did a library, you guys were there to help. So I just wanted to say thank you and introduce you to the audience.
You were very, very welcome.
Thanks, man. All right, I introduced you guys to Thomas, who's somebody that I've known since he was a little kid that came and helped us today. Trey is another one of my friends that came in today to help us actually set up. These two young guys came in and helped us set up all the exhibit pieces. Trey, it's good to see you. How long have you liked dinosaurs?
Oh man, ever since I can remember. I do not know when it started, and I don't know when it's gonna end.
That happens a lot. How old are you now, Trey?
I'm 14 now.
14, nice.
Yeah.
And so, last year we did a show here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you helped last year.
That was crazy.
Oh, it was nuts.
It was madness.
It was, and the lines went out the door. And so now we brought in the big exhibit. So this exhibit is probably 3 times the size of the one before.
Yep.
But on this one, you actually came in early to help us actually set up. Did you enjoy doing that?
Well, yeah, it was great. I liked it. I liked unpacking everything. It was fun to, help set everything up, and yeah, it's great. I just really like doing this.
That's so cool. Now, one of the things you're doing today is, of course, you're walking around and talking, but you've been stuck with the hand puppets, the little dinosaur.
I got the dinosaur hand puppets. I've been getting some weird looks from their kids. I might have traumatized a couple.
Yeah, some of them, those little things look real. I mean, those puppets look real.
They really do.
That's so cool.
They really do.
Well, that's cool. So, man, I just wanted to tell you, and what I told Thomas as well, I appreciate you young guys coming in and helping, and because for me, coming off of surgery, I couldn't do much of anything. I couldn't be any help today. You guys really came in and did a lot, and I just want to tell you, Trey, how much I appreciate it and how much I enjoy when you come in to work with us.
Well, it's my pleasure to do it, sir.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, buddy. All right. This next person is one of my favorites. Mackenzie, I met you at a library, and you came up to me with this gigantic smile because you absolutely loved dinosaurs. And that was, well, how old are you right now?
13.
You're 13. And I think at that time, that must have been last week. It was a couple of years ago. Mackenzie, how long have you liked dinosaurs?
Ever since I was a little girl, like around 6 or 7.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And did you have a favorite all that time, or has it changed?
I think one that always really stuck with me was the T-Rex, because it kind of sounds like stereotypical because everyone's like, oh, T-Rex is amazing, but like I find it was like such a apex predator that like nothing stood in its way.
Right, and you know what? I totally understand that because you're right. I mean, little kids love T-Rex, but a lot of times it's because that's just the most familiar name. That's the one that they know, but I don't think a lot of them truly understand the size. I mean, I have had little kids come by this booth all day today who have told me T-Rex is their favorite, and then when you tell them how big it is, they're just stunned. Because they don't really understand. But your comment about it being an apex predator is absolutely right. I mean, they're enormous animals. Now, what's so cool about this is I met you a couple years ago, and you loved dinosaurs, and then you came in and worked with us in that show. Well, you've worked with me, 3 shows now?
4.
4 shows, good grief. So you've come in and worked 4 shows, and one of the things that I think is hilarious is we got those puppets that look real. And we gave you those puppets to start working with. And you became an absolute terror. So tell me what it is you do with that puppet that makes you such a terror when you've got it.
Well, all these little kids coming up, they're like, is it real? And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe not. And they always ask me, what kind of dinosaur is it? And I'm just like, well, it's a baby velociraptor. And then we get to talking, and then I like slowly open its eyes, and then they kind of notice it, and they like snap their head towards its head, and then I like lash its head out, and they're like, ah! They like jump back.
She is notorious. She makes it makes it look like it's asleep. There's a little trigger inside that you can open and close its eyes and open and close its mouth. So what she does is she takes that thing and closes its eyes and makes it look like it's just like it's a static animal. And the little kids think it's real, and then when you open its eyes and they go, that thing's alive. And then what she does is she whips it around at them, and you can hear these kids scream all over the place.
Yes.
So now you loved dinosaurs when you were little, and now you're a teenager.
Yes.
Do you still like them as much, or do you find that now there's other things in your life that are sort of taking over?
Well, I mean, with sports and school, it is kind of like not as easy to like love them as much because, you know, everyone's like, oh, you have to like beauty and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I like dinosaurs. Like, they're amazing.
Well, you know, and that's funny you mention that because I meet so many, there's so many people, so many women of paleontology. And that's one of the common themes I get because I've got a chance to interview them. And it's amazing that in today's times, there's still people that believe that certain people are supposed to like certain things. And that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Listen, if I like dinosaurs, I like dinosaurs, and it doesn't matter if I'm a man or a woman or black or white or any of those things, if that's what you like. So I understand. Now, I do understand the part about like getting in sports because you're also in band, right? You're in band and you play sports. So it's probably harder to find the time to focus on them as much. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about band for a minute. What do you play?
I play the tuba.
How cool is that? How cool is that? Now, are you in the marching band, or is it just like a concert band?
Well, it is a concert band, but I'm in middle school. But once I get into high school, which is next year, oh, that's scary. I will start marching, and I'll be in the parade, and we'll march at football games, and yeah.
How cool is that? And what about sports? Again, you're in middle school, but what sports do you like?
I play basketball.
Well, you're so short. What are you, 3'2"?
5'9", George. I'm just kidding.
You're 5'9". You're 2 inches taller than me. That's a total ripoff.
But yes, I'm a post in basketball, as you can tell, very tall. And I do play track. I do track. Not the best runner, but my coach does want me to do shot put and discus because.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I like swimming, but.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, you know, I will tell you another reoccurring theme I meet a lot of times is people go through phases of things they like.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. When I was younger, it was all about dinosaurs. And then when I got into middle school, and especially when I got into high school, because you're right, the peer pressure from my friends were dinosaurs are stupid.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are for kids. I heard that probably so much. And so I kind of shelved my love of dinosaurs. I just didn't talk about it. I still loved them, but I didn't talk about it because my friends thought they were dumb. And I wasn't strong enough to go, I don't care what you guys think. This is what I like. So I kind of shelved them. But then when you get out of your teens and then start to get into your 20s, all of a sudden you may rediscover them again and go, you know what? Because then you're looking at them from a totally different perspective, right? Now you're looking at them from a young adult perspective. And so you may re-find that all of the things you liked when you were young may come back to you again. But regardless of whether you like them or not, I hope you continue to work with us.
Yes, sir, of course.
Of course, other than terrorizing the little kids with the puppets, you do a really good job. But what do you think about the exhibit?
I personally like the diversity of all the bones and stuff like that you have. And it kind of like, I've never really like seen it because like everyone thinks like a drive-by, something like that, but it's really not. It's once you get to what you get inside and like you see all the volunteers spending 5, 6, 7 hours here, like every show, it gets pretty cool and like you get to teach people about dinosaurs and do what you love.
That is cool. And remember, the show that we did here in Killeen last year, that one was completely out of control. That one was nuts. If you can survive that, you can survive anything. The line never stopped.
Yeah, just kept on coming.
Exactly. So with this being a 2-day show and being such a bigger venue, it's not as crowded, which makes it really nice because, man, that was crazy.
It got so hot in that room.
Oh, God, it was a nightmare. Well, you have no idea how much I've enjoyed working with you. You know, you're so pleasant and you're fun to be around and you know a lot of stuff. It's amazing. Your brother is completely the opposite. He's terrible. But you're absolutely the best. And we'll play this over and over to make sure he hears it. Your brother's taller than me. Looks like he can break me in half. I better shut up. So, what? She was just saying bad stuff about you, and I'm stepping up and telling her that's incredibly rude and not to do it anymore. So I just want you to know that I'm trying to protect you. All right, I'm sneaking out the back and getting out of here. This kid's going to kill me. But anyway, Mackenzie, thank you for being such a good helper and being such a kind person, and I just love working with you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, I want you to meet one of my all-time favorite people. Hennessy is such a spectacular dinosaur expert that she and I appeared in the newspaper probably 3 times now together, a picture of you and I talking about dinosaurs. And then Hennessy became my best friend, and she started working for us. Hennessy, how old are you, sweetie?
I am 8.
You are 8 years old, but you are a genius, right? She said yes. Hennessy, do you still like dinosaurs? You find them interesting?
Oh, yes.
Who is your favorite, honey? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, yes. I have actually 3 favorites. T-Rex, Giganotosaurus, and the Triceratops.
Wow. What a great choice, especially Giganotosaurus. You know, so many times, Hennessy, people mispronounce its name. When they see the word Giganotosaurus, they think it says Gigantosaurus. And so many people tell me they like Gigantosaurus. I'm so proud of you for recognizing the proper pronunciation, which is Giganotosaurus. So what is it about Giganotosaurus that you like?
Well, I like that all it's battling things over the T-Rex.
Yeah, and he's bigger than T-Rex.
Only a little bit.
Atta girl, nicely done. You're right. It is just a little bit bigger than T-Rex. Now, what do you like about Triceratops? Because I like Triceratops a lot.
I've been liking it since I was pretty much 3, and I like all its horns and its battling thing, and the keratin on its beak.
You know what keratin is?
Same stuff that our fingernails are.
See what I mean about when I said you were a genius? You are very smart, because there's a lot of adults that don't know that the end of the beak of a Triceratops had keratin covering on it. So that makes you smarter than a grown-up. How fancy is that?
Pretty fancy smanchy.
That's exactly what it is. And now, if your mom says, Hennessy, it's time for you to go to bed, you can go, I'm smarter than a grown-up, so I don't have to follow any rules. She will love that, Hennessy. She'll be so proud of you. Of course, I'm probably going to get a spanking now for saying that. Well, that's so cool. And now you've seen the exhibit, but you know what, Hennessy? When you and I worked together last year, because remember, you came in and helped us last year, it was much smaller. Now you see the whole exhibit. Do you like the big exhibit?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you worked with us last time, we didn't have nearly as much stuff in here as we do this time.
Nope.
This time we got a lot. So, well, I am so glad, honey, that you came by, because I always loved seeing you, and I loved keeping up with you. And like I said, you and I have been in the newspaper more times together than anybody else I know. I guess you're just a star. Well, Hennessy, thank you so much, sweetie. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
So those were my volunteers. They did a great job. I actually had one other young fellow volunteer, but he volunteered on the second day after I had already stopped recording. So I didn't get to interview him, but I'm going to interview him again the next time we do a show. All right, now comes the fun part. This is just going to be a bunch of recordings of all the young people that came up. Now, there was some older people. There was some young people that came up. But a lot of these are little tiny kids, and some of the stuff they have to say is pretty crazy. So I hope you guys enjoy this part. It, like I said, it makes this episode completely different from any that I've done in the past. But I hope you enjoy these because I certainly had a good time recording them.
All right, tell me your name.
My name is Alberto Nunez.
Alberto, how old are you, friend?
I'm 15 today.
Today is your birthday?
No!
Oh, you wanted birthday money, man. Nice way to treat. This kid came in here to rip me off.
I'm 15.
You're 15.
Yeah, my birthday is not until next year.
Man, you tried to get me to give you a birthday present.
Oh.
Sneaky man. You should have said I'm 15. Can I have a T-Rex?
T-Rex. All right.
So tell me, do you like dinosaurs?
Oh yeah, I like dinosaurs since I was a little infant.
How cool! Now I've seen you before somewhere.
Yeah.
Where did I see you before?
Maybe Bel Air.
Oh, at the school.
Yes.
Yes, Bel Air Elementary. That was like.
I still remember one of your jokes. Like one joke that you said, like this one claw is like you could just scare your parents. Scare your parents. This claw can scare you and give you extra time for TV.
That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't believe you still remember that stuff.
Yep.
That is crazy, and you still like dinosaurs.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Do you still have one in particular you like?
Yeah, Albertosaurus.
Of course.
Yes, it's named after me.
The dinosaur that was named after you, Albertosaurus. How cool is that?
Yeah. To be honest, I think because it was found like in Canada, right?
Yeah, in Alberta, Canada, right.
Yes.
But listen, they find those in Texas as well, out in Big Bend. So Alberto does come from Texas.
Yes. Yes.
You're an example of that.
Yes.
That's cool. So that's cool.
So if you could find like a dinosaur, what would you name it? Like.
Oh, what a great question. If I found a dinosaur, what would I name it? Holy smokes, nobody's ever asked me that. I don't know. I guess it would have to do with what it is.
Yeah.
Like if it was a carnivore, I would give it a name that sounds like real dangerous.
Yeah.
If it was a plant eater, maybe something a little less dangerous.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant question. Nobody's ever asked me that, and I do not know. I don't know what I'd do.
Maybe you could just name it after yourself.
Oh, you know what? That's a no-no.
That's a no-no?
One of the things in paleontology, when you find a new dinosaur, you can give it a name. You can name it after something or somewhere you found it, but you really don't name it after yourself.
That's a rule of thumb, right?
Yeah, it is so exactly right. It's not the law, but it's sort of the thing. Now, you can name it after somebody. Like one of my favorite kids is a girl named Hennessy. I could name it Hennessy Raptor. If it was a raptor, I would name it after her. Or maybe I'd name it Hennessy Ceratops. So I would probably name it after somebody. I tell you who I would really name it after. There's a paleontologist named Thomas Holtz.
Thomas Holtz, huh?
And I get frustrated that they don't name a dinosaur after him. So Dr. Holtz, I would name it after Dr. Holtz. If it was a carnivore, I'd name it after him.
So who is who inspired you to be a paleontologist?
Wow. Well, when I was little, I read a book about it was drawings by Charles R. Knight. He was an artist. And he drew these fascinating dinosaur images that looked alive. He really was the reason why I love dinosaurs, because he brought those dinosaurs to life. And then as I got older and I started learning how to read, then it became people like James Madsen, a man who dug up Allosaurus, which is my favorite dinosaur. Jim Madsen was one of the people I admired greatly. And then, so many. Edward Drinker Cope is another one. So I didn't meet a real paleontologist or a paleontologist I got to meet. Mine were people I read about, but they inspired me just the same as if I would have met them.
Good.
Yeah.
Because inspiration about literature.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's what inspired me. So now let me turn the tables.
Yes.
What inspired you to like dinosaurs?
But it's really simple because I thought they would look pretty cool, and I wonder why they had how they look. You know?
Right.
Like why have such a long neck?
Right. Yes. Very good questions.
Why be so big?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out because if you have a lot of oxygen, maybe be huge bugs.
Yeah, and that's right. You know what? It is because there was a high oxygen level that allowed them to grow to giant sizes.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. That's really very cool.
Yeah, and as time goes on, the nitrogen, right?
Right, carbon dioxide, right.
Yes, that increased, and then they got smaller.
That's exactly right. It was a decrease of oxygen that may have affected the big ones. I mean, that probably helped lead to the extinction of the dinosaurs, is a change of their environment. Now, it was a major change and a big change, but anytime the environment changes, animals, you got three choices. Move to a place you like better, adapt to your new environment, or die. Those are your chances. Move, adapt, or die.
Yeah.
In the case of some of our dinosaur friends, died.
So do you think there were any human ancestors during the time of dinosaurs?
I don't think so, because I've never seen any evidence to support it. Now, there's certainly, like during the age of the mammoths, absolutely, because we find the tools. We even find the bones that have butcher marks where people were cutting the meat off of the bone, like the way we would do in a butcher shop.
Yeah, like with bone or...
Yeah, exactly right. It's right. So we see that. But during the age of dinosaurs, mammals, which you and I are part of the family of mammals were very tiny little things that didn't venture out probably during the day. Mammals really sort of took over when the big event occurred that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs.
They were hiding. Like, they were not, all the dinosaurs were so big, they couldn't hide.
That's it.
And the ones that do hide, they became birds, reptiles.
Right, the reptiles we see around us today, right. You have, sharks, fish, birds, bats, mosquitoes, cockroaches, those are all living with the dinosaurs. Yeah. But whatever killed the dinosaurs did not bother them, and it probably has to do with how they were able to adapt to the new environment.
Yeah. I couldn't think of any more questions to ask you right now.
Well, listen, those are great. And it's kind of fun for me to get to be asked questions, because I'm usually the one asking the questions. So I appreciate that very much. How did you like the exhibit?
It was pretty interesting. I couldn't tell if there was anything new, but they would still refresh my mind where I like these dinosaurs.
Right. So that's good. Yeah. Well, we carry things from before the age of dinosaurs to after. So hopefully you saw something that, like you said, you saw and went, hey, I remember that. And then it reminds you of them. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your podcast. I think I'm going to go right now.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Alex,
how old are you?
6.
Whoa, 6 years old. Do you have a favorite dinosaur, Alex?
All of them are my favorite.
That is a good choice, Alex. So you wanted to ask me a question. What is your question, Alex? Who would win in a fight between?
Giant Hulk, prehistoric, and giant crocodile, prehistoric.
Whoa, who would win in a fight between the prehistoric shark and the prehistoric crocodile? Their names are Megalodon, that's the shark, and Dinosuchus is the crocodile. Okay, who would win in a fight? Well, here's the thing. Crocodiles have to stick their head out of the water so they can breathe, right? They're like you and me, we have to breathe outside. A shark can breathe underwater. That means that shark never has to come up to the surface to breathe. He can stay underwater and fight as long as he wants. So something like a giant crocodile, the only thing the crocodile would have to worry about is when he needed to catch a breath of air, because then he would have to go up to the surface, and that means that naughty shark could grab him by the middle. So in a fight between those two animals, I still think the shark could win, but those crocodiles are pretty big. Now, they didn't live at the same time, just so that you know, but just for your question, my guess is the shark would win the fight, even though the crocodile is big. Who did you want to win?
I want giant crocodile to win.
Let me think about this one more minute. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think the giant crocodile would win because he's cooler looking.
Me too.
Good. Well, you know what? Then I think we were agreed on that. Everybody knows the giant crocodile would win in a fight. I think that's a great question, and I'm glad that we both like the same winner.
I've now figured out my favorite. My favorite is... I have two favorites, actually. My two favorites are Stegosaurus and Triceratops.
I love both of those dinosaurs.
I mean, not Triceratops. Pteranodon.
Pteranodon. Oh, you like the flyers. That's very cool. Well, you know what? Stegosaurus and Pteranodons are both amazing animals, and I like them very much, too. I think that's a good choice. That's cool. Did you like the museum?
Yes, I certainly did.
Good. What did you like the best? Was there something you really thought was interesting?
The dinosaur bones.
That's so cool. Well, I'm so glad that you asked your question, and I'm glad that I was able to change my opinion and make it Dinosuchus for you. And I hope you have fun. Nothing in here tried to eat you, did it?
No.
Okay, good. Because every time a kid gets eaten, my insurance goes up, and that's a tragedy. So, thank you so much, little man. I hope you had fun.
I had 1,025,000,000% fun.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm Leah.
And how old are you?
8.
8 years old. Now, do you like dinosaurs?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite dinosaur?
Yes.
Who is your favorite?
This is a hard choice because I mostly like all the dinosaurs, but my most favorite one is the Spinosaurus.
Oh, let me tell you something. This is really cool. I'm getting ready to add a Spinosaurus to this collection. I have a Spinosaurus skull that is being shipped to us right now. It's on a boat coming from Europe over to here. So maybe the next time I see you, you'll be able to see how big Spinosaurus is. It's a big animal. Now, did you like the exhibit? Did you like everything? Mm-hmm. Did you see anything in the exhibit that was new to you, something you didn't know about before? Did you see something new?
Yeah.
What did you see? Do you remember which one?
It was the one that had the weird skull. It had those little, things on its nose.
Was it, did it have the round bump on his head?
It was something whale or...
Oh, Uintatherium.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me that isn't the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the weirdest skull on earth.
It is weird, isn't it? Yeah, Uintatherium is odd because there's nothing alive today that we can really compare it to. You know, it sort of had the body of a hippopotamus, but it sort of has the horns of a giraffe. And then it has those big teeth, those big long teeth. It is one of the weirdest things. I'm glad you liked Uintatherium. Yeah, Uintatherium is its name. That's an animal that came after the age of dinosaurs. So it wasn't really a dinosaur, it was an animal that came after the dinosaurs. That's cool. Now, do you have any questions about anything you saw? Is there anything you want to ask me?
Is that Megalodon teeth, jaw over there supposed to be bigger?
Well, that's a great question. The Megalodon jaws that I have, that, if you put that in people years, maybe that would be sort of like a teenager. Because yes, some of them get even bigger than the ones that I have. So the ones that I have don't mean that's as big as they get. That just means that's as big as I've got. So yes, there are some Megalodon jaws even bigger than the ones that I have. Would you like to go swimming with that shark? I think the answer should be no.
I would.
Well, that's so cool. Well, I'm so glad that you stopped by and said something. Let me tell you, this podcast will go out in a couple of weeks. And so I'll make sure to give your mom and dad the information so you can listen, because you can hear yourself on the podcast. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes.
All right. And listen, you keep studying. Would you like to be a paleontologist, do you think?
Yes.
Wow.
Except the part where I have to pick up the dinosaur.
Well, okay. We'll make sure if you're a paleontologist, you don't have to deal with the dinosaur poop. Other than that, you can pick up all the bones. Does that sound good? Yes. All right. Thank you so much, sweetie. Braden, how old are you, Braden?
6.
6 years old. Do you have a favorite kind of dinosaur, Braden?
Yes.
Who do you like the best?
A raptor.
Whoa. I like raptors very much. They were really fast. Do you like them because they were fast and dangerous? Yeah, I do too. I think they're cool. Did you like the museum? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
And what did you like the best? Did you see something you liked?
All the big schools.
I'm so glad. I like them too. I like them very much. Well, you know what? I enjoy the big pieces. Some of the little stuff is kind of cool, but I'm with you. I like the big stuff the best. Did you have a question you want to ask, or do you want to tell me something you know about dinosaurs?
I have no idea.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's kind of cool, though. So you like raptors. Now, some raptors were very tiny, And some were pretty big. There were some big ones. The big one I have over there is Utah Raptor. He's a pretty big dinosaur. So, yeah, raptors I like because they come in so many different sizes. But the thing that makes raptors so incredible to me is how sharp their teeth and claws are. They were dangerous animals. Would you like to have a raptor for a pet?
Yeah.
Are you crazy, kid?
Yes.
You would be lunch. Would you want to be lunch for a raptor? Or would you feed your sister to them?
No.
Well, I got to tell you, that's the most surprising answer I've ever got, because most boys go, yes! Well, that's so cool. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you like raptors. I think that's kind of neat. Are you in school yet?
No.
Not yet. So you'll go next year, is that right? Very,
sir.
Very cool. What good manners you have. I'm so proud of you. Well, that's very cool. Now, is that your wife that you were with there? She's very beautiful. Congratulations.
My sister.
That's your sister? Now I know why you didn't say you'd feed her, because she was standing right there and she would have bonked you right on the head. Now I understand why. Do you like dinosaurs, sweetie? Come on over here. Sit next to your brother. I'd like to talk to you guys. Come on over. So tell me your name, honey.
Kayla.
Kayla, and how old are you, sweetie?
8.
You're 8. So that means you're in high school?
No.
College?
No.
Senior?
No, I'm in
8th grade.
elementary school.
You're in the 8th grade. That's
Elementary school.
8th grade is not elementary, kid. Don't you know anything?
I'm not in 8th grade.
Then you're in 7th grade? That's still not
No.
elementary? So what grade are you in?
3rd.
Why did you tell me high school?
I did.
Were you trying to trick me?
No, I didn't.
Sir, your wife is very mean because she's playing tricks on me this entire time. She's very, very rude. I can't believe she would do that to me. I'm minding my own business, and she said she was married and in the 8th grade, and I'm like, you look too young to be married, but she insisted she was... Okay, somebody did. So, did you like the exhibit, sweetie?
Yes.
Cool. Do you like dinosaurs, honey?
Yeah.
Do you? That's cool. Is there any one in particular you like, or do you just think they're all sort of neat?
I like the megalodon and a huge crocodile.
Nice. Why do you like Megalodon, honey? What is it about Megalodon?
Because they're so huge and their teeth are massive.
Isn't that amazing? Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but when you looked at that Megalodon, did you notice that it has rows of teeth? Not just one set, but there's rows. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's cool. And then you also like the giant crocodile, which I think is kind of cool. Now, the crocodile was found here in Texas.
I know.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, but every dinosaur here is probably in Texas.
Well, when you look at our signs, if you see a picture of a Texas flag, that means absolutely it did. Some of the other ones that didn't live in Texas, when you look at the signs, if you don't see the Texas flag, that means they lived in other places. Dinosaurs lived all over the world. We found them everywhere. Well, that's so cool. Well, I'm so glad that you and your wonderful husband took time out from college to come in to speak to me. I think that's very fine. Sir, you have a lovely wife. I'm so happy. Do you have a job somewhere, sir? You don't have a job. What did you marry him for? He's a bum. I told you to make sure that kid got a job.
He's my brother.
Why did you marry a man who doesn't have a job? Now you have to go out. I can't believe it. She married you and you didn't even have a job. You should be ashamed of yourself, sir, for marrying such a beautiful young lady and not even having a job. So I would expect you to go out and get a job this afternoon. Don't put up with it, miss. You don't have to put up with it. Well, honey, I hope you enjoy your college, and I hope you enjoy being married to such a beautiful lady. You look like such a happy couple. What?
We're brother and sister, not husband and wife.
Well, why did you tell me that?
I did.
You let me make a total fool of myself. You came up and said, this is my husband. I'm in high school. And I went, you look kind of young. And you're like, mister, I'm telling you that's the way it is. And now you embarrass me because that's not true. I can't believe you'd do that to me.
I did.
Well, thank you guys so much. Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
I'm glad. Well, have a good weekend, you guys, okay?
You too.
All right.
Cassidy,
how old are you? 50?
5.
55?
No, 5.
You look really good for 55.
Want to see how tall I am?
How tall are you?
Let me show you.
All right. You are very tall. For everybody listening, he just showed me how tall he was, and that's very tall. So you're 5 years old. You like dinosaurs?
Yes.
Who is your favorite?
My favorite skull?
Yeah, what did you like the best?
I like that giant shark mouth.
Oh, you liked Megalodon.
Yes.
Oh.
And I also liked the T-Rex.
Wow, I like T-Rex. You like two giants, don't you?
Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, I like that shark as well. So, did you like the museum, first of all?
So, yes, I did.
Very good. And did you have a question you want to ask me?
Yes.
What is it?
So, did you know that I can make a dinosaur sound?
Let me hear it. That was probably the best dinosaur sound I've heard all day. Now, what kind of dinosaur was that? Was that a Rex?
It was called the Megalodon.
So that was the sound of a megalodon. Well, that was the coolest megalodon sound I've ever heard. You heard it live, everybody. For the first time ever, we heard the sound of a deadly megalodon.
Well, yeah.
And can you do a T-Rex sound?
Yep.
Let me hear you do T-Rex. That was very good.
I know.
Maybe I should, yeah, and you're humble about it too. I should maybe hire you to come in and do all my sound effects. Would you like a job where you stand back with a microphone and you make dinosaur sounds?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan. How much do you want to get paid an hour to do that?
Let's say 3 hours.
You want 3 hours worth of work. How much do you want to get paid? $1? A million?
$2,025.
$2,025 for 3 hours of work.
Yep.
Well, I'll have to get our lawyers involved in this one because I'm not allowed to sign deals that big. So I'll see what I can do.
All right.
All right? Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, $2,000 an hour kid. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. And thank you for the dinosaur sounds. Let's hear one more sound before you go. Thank you very much.
And I have a couple more questions.
Let's do them. Come on.
So, what kind of dinosaur, what kind of plant eater do you like?
Whoa, what a great question. I like the ankylosaurs, you know, the ones with the big club on the tail?
Yeah.
I like ankylosaurs. I didn't know I was going to be interviewed in this thing. The table has just been turned on me. I like ankylosaurs. How about you?
Well, I kind of like the Parasaurolophus.
Love him. Did you see a skull back there in the back?
Yeah.
Nice. Bless you. Bless you again. Now, was that a Snesiosaurus? There's a third one. Is that a Snesiosaurus Rex you just did for us?
No.
That was a good sound effect.
I know.
You did dinosaurs and a Snesiosaur. That was very good. I've heard of a Plesiosaur, but never a Snesiosaur. Gonna sneeze again? Wait for it. Nope, no Snesiosaur.
Did you know that you can cover your nose so you don't cough?
That's very good. You're exactly right. I appreciate it. Because I don't want you to cough in my face, because then you'll make me sick with your deadly disease. Well, all right, listen, buddy, I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you again for all the cool sound effects. One more sound effect before we go. Let's hear a Brachiosaurus. Thank you, buddy.
And I have 10 more.
Yeah, 10 more.
Come on, somebody else say thank you.
That was really good.
Tell him thank you.
Let me make sure we're live. We are. All right, pull up a little bit closer to that. Make sure we're still going. We are. All right, tell me your name.
I am Brandon Smith.
Brandon, now I met you a long time ago, Brandon, about 4 years ago, is that right?
Between 2 and 4.
Yeah, it was at a different place. Brandon, how old are you?
I am 12.
12 years old. What grade are you in now?
I'm 7th.
7th grade. Nice. Very cool. So do you like dinosaurs?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite kind?
Yeah, the Spinosaurus.
Oh, God, I love him. I love Spinosaurus. He's so cool. Let me tell you something really cool. I have a Spinosaurus skull that is being shipped to us that we're getting ready to add to the exhibit. So the next time I see you, you may be able to see a Spinosaurus skull. How cool is that going to be?
That's going to be awesome.
It is. Now, listen, you listen to my podcast, don't you?
Yes.
Nice. And did you hear that I said I was going to be here today with this? Did you hear that?
No. I don't think I've listened to that one yet.
Yeah, that was the one I just released. We just made it live, I think, day before yesterday. So we just uploaded it. So you had a question you want to ask me. What do you want to ask me?
Do you think dinosaurs could have lived in Antarctica?
They did. But at the time they were alive, Antarctica wasn't like it is today. It wasn't frozen. Antarctica was much warmer back then. And so they do find dinosaurs that live in the Arctic regions. But one of the things that's confusing for me about them anyway is that it did get cold back then. You know, a lot of people think that dinosaurs only lived like when it was hot, but that's not true. So the dinosaurs that lived on the poles would have had to deal with cold weather. They would have had to deal with that. The biggest mystery to me is, how did they do it? You know, how did they deal with the winters? Because I read once that somebody thought, and they may have proven this, that it actually got dark for like a month at a time, like it does sort of like in Alaska and places like that, where there was a long period of time of darkness. And so if that is the case, how did those dinosaurs survive? Did they hibernate? Did they leave maybe? Did they migrate away and come back again in the summer? I don't know. But absolutely, there were dinosaurs living in the Arctic regions. One of them that comes to mind is Cryolophosaurus. Have you ever seen a picture of him?
I don't think so.
He's sort of, let me think what he looks like. He sort of has the head of like a Carnotaurus, but he doesn't have the horns. But on top of his head is kind of this weird bone that looks like a wave. I don't know how else to explain it. He's such an odd-looking dude. He's from up there. So there were dinosaurs from there, but again, you have to remember it was a different world back then, so the environment would have been different. There would have been palm trees, there was trees, there was all kinds of stuff. It would have probably looked a lot like maybe a forest or even a jungle environment during most of the year. It's a good question. That's actually a very good question. You got any other questions?
If they got in a fight somehow, which do you think would win, Spinosaurus or Allosaurus?
You did that on purpose. You know Allosaurus is my favorite, and your favorite is Spinosaurus, and you know good and well that there is absolutely no way my Allosaurus could beat your crummy Spinosaurus. So you set me up, you rotten kid. So yes, as much as I love Allosaurus, Spinosaurus is simply too big. And that long, skinny snout gave it an advantage because Allo couldn't really get close in. And plus, Spinosaurus's arms are big with those big claws. As much as it makes me sick to have to admit it, yes, your lousy Spinosaurus would have, and you guys may not know it, but this kid is sitting here laughing at me the entire time because he set me up with that lousy question. So yeah, your Spino would beat my Allo, which is a shame. And now you know what that means? That means now, because you asked that question, I'm going to throw you in the mouth of that shark and feed you to the shark. That's how I'm going to get even with you. Listen, man, did you like the exhibit?
Yes, it was awesome.
Yeah, and this is the second time you've seen the museum, right?
Yes.
That is so cool. Yeah, because I've added a couple of things. Well, let me tell you, hopefully I get that Spinosaurus in soon, and when I see you guys again soon, maybe you'll get a chance to finally get to see a Spinosaurus.
All right, everybody. Hey, listen, just to let you know, Brandon, the last young man that was that you heard, he was the volunteer that came in and ended up working with us a little bit Saturday evening, and then he came back and worked almost all day Sunday. So, Brandon, I really appreciate your help. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I've got a bunch of other interviews. I just ran out of time for this particular episode, so I'm going to include those in a follow-up. I just had so much fun listening to those podcasts. Listening to those interviews again. Those kids are great. So I've got some really good ones. So I'll post another one of these special podcasts where I am just going to play different interviews. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope your families are doing great. Make sure to visit my website, dinosaurgeorges.com. Visit our catalog while you're there, because that helps, obviously. Make sure to be kind to each other. Be kind to people around you. One of the things that drives me crazy about social media is how hateful people can be on there. I just don't understand that, but to each his own. But don't get caught up in it. If somebody's rude, if somebody's nasty, man, what you ought to do is just feel bad for them that their lives are that crummy. But whatever the case, don't lower yourself to them, to their level, and don't get involved in any of that, because it's a waste of your time. Listen, thank you guys so very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Dinosaur George Show. Please follow us on our social media links and join our mailing list. If you're interested in having Dinosaur George speak at your event, please visit our website at dinosaurgeorge.com. Until next time, keep digging for clues about the past.